All right, welcome to the podcast today. So I'm going to be talking about how to shift your mindset to help you lose weight and get healthy. We need to align our mindset with our action. And most often, I find that people I work with need help with their mindset. I know I personally need help with my mindset for so many different areas in my life. And sometimes people need practical information, like I teach you guys about blood sugar and proper strength training, and we need those practicals. But usually what is holding most people back more comes from their mindset. So today we're going to go over how mindset affects our actions, why we resist this mindset work, and then simple ways to get started. Hi friends, and welcome to the Healthy Beyond 40 show. I'm Michelle, mama 4 and military wife, and I'm passionate about helping women get healthy from the inside out so they can feel better and live their best life. Do you feel like you're struggling to lose weight and get in shape? If you're ready to develop healthier habits, exercise consistently, and lose weight sustainably, then you're in the right place. I combine my expertise from my doctorate in physical therapy to my experience as a health coach, personal trainer, and yoga teacher to bring you actionable steps for a healthy lifestyle. No magic pill here, so lace up those shoes and get moving. So first I want to get started with how our mindset influences our actions and our inactions. So our beliefs and our thoughts and our feelings that we have are often hidden drivers of what we do and what we avoid doing. So a lot of times we have this thought or we have a feeling pop up that leads to a thought, and that drives our action or our inaction. So when we tend to be in a good mindset space and we're having more positive feelings and positive thoughts, we're taking actions towards our goals that we want. Versus the other side, when we're feeling down on ourselves and crummy and we're having thoughts of shame and guilt, it leads us to taking actions that are further away from our goal. So when we can start to have more positive, growth-oriented thinking, that can help to motivate us towards eating healthier, moving more, staying consistent with our goals. But on the reverse, when we have negative self-talk, when we have doubts and fears, that can tend to lead to procrastination. We can sabotage ourselves, and we can avoid the very things that we know we need to do to be healthier and to feel better. So for example, maybe someone wants to exercise, but they keep having that thought that I'm too busy. And so when they keep having that thought that I'm too busy, that is the reality that they make come true. And so then they don't make the time for exercise. They just keep telling themselves that they're too busy to do this. Versus being in a more open mindset, and maybe this person is busy, but they're like, I'm going to do 5 minutes a day because I literally have 5 minutes. I can not be on my phone, or there's something I can take out. Or I can combine something. If I'm at my kid's soccer game, I'm going to exercise or walk while I'm there. So sometimes those thoughts that we have can keep us stuck exactly where we are because our mind isn't open to the other possibilities. And this is sometimes where working with a coach can be really beneficial because sometimes we are so stuck in our thoughts that we can't see, one, sometimes what we're even thinking or feeling, but we can't see these other possibilities. I had someone recently who was working with me in health coaching, and she went somewhere for the weekend and it didn't go as planned, but she was able to talk to me and release that guilt and shame. And she said normally she just would have sort of fallen off the wagon and stayed there, but now she's able to get back on track. And so now she has my voice in her head telling her that she doesn't need that guilt and shame, that she just needs to move on. Because when we stay in that guilt and shame, it doesn't move us forward. It doesn't motivate us to do those things that we know we need to do for our health. Because there's going to be so many things in life where it doesn't go as planned. So if we can have kindness towards ourselves and we can move on quicker. I always talk to my clients about narrowing that window where we're sort of off track, where we're not really doing those goals that we want. And what happens with a lot of people before they start working with me is when they sort of go off track, that window is very long. They'll sort of stay off track because, they had pizza this night, so then who cares about this? And then it's another week, then it's a month. Versus when we can get more intentional and we can be kind and gracious to ourselves when we go off track, we can see that and we can sort of move on and get right back to it. And guys, if you need support with your mindset or coaching, check the link down below. You can set up a free call with me where we can go over your goals and struggles and see what's holding you back. Because once we can start to figure what's holding you back, we can start to figure out a path forward. So if you guys need support, make sure you check those links down below on how you can work with me. All right, let's go back into the second part I want to talk about. And why do we resist this mindset work? Because if you remember at the beginning, I said this is commonly the thing that is holding most people back. It's not practical knowledge like how many grams of protein are in a piece of chicken. It's usually the mindset that is really holding people back. So I want you guys to know that this isn't just fluffy stuff. We have so many thoughts in our mind each day and so many thoughts that we let run and run that aren't even true. So when we can start to become aware of our thoughts and aware of what's running our actions, we can align a lot closer with our goals that we have for ourselves. And sometimes we resist this work because we're scared to look at ourselves. Maybe we know that we have habits or things that we don't like about ourselves, and we really don't want to face that yet. And let's also face it, thoughts, patterns are hard to change. They're usually wired into us. They have a strong neural pathway, and to change those things can be hard. So we find that it's easier to just stick to the routines that we have, even though they may not be helpful, even though they may not be helping us reach our goals, instead of really diving into some of this work and discovering things about ourselves and changing our thoughts and becoming aware of why we're thinking the way we're thinking. Because when we can start to make even small shifts in our mindset, it can really help us to get closer and closer to our goals. So now I want to talk about some very practical tips to do some mindset work. So one is to have like a positive affirmation or intention that you're going to tell yourself each day and maybe throughout your day. And when you come up with an affirmation, it needs to feel true. Because if you're picking something that doesn't land or doesn't feel true, it's not going to sink in. And sometimes you can sort of do like a ladder thought. So maybe whatever you really want your affirmation to be, but it doesn't feel true at all, what would be some steps down that you can start to affirming to yourself? So some affirmations might be, I'm committed to taking care of my health. My health is important. I take steps each day to take care of myself. I'm going to move my body every day. Maybe you're going to add, I'm going to enjoy moving my body every day. Or maybe it's something about nutrition. I really want to nourish my body. I'm someone who nourishes my body each day. And so whatever that is, you can start repeating it to yourself, making sure that it feels true. And then through the affirmation, you're allowing it to become more true and that neural pathway to get stronger. Another good mindset habit is to practice gratitude. Most of us have heard this before, but really writing things we're grateful for each day. And you could make this more specific to your health. And so I always like to think of my health as like our body, as in our exercise, our nutrition, and our mindset. We have to think of our health holistically here. So what things are you grateful for? So maybe you've been someone who hasn't eaten many veggies and you're starting to eat them. Maybe you can be grateful for the broccoli you had that tasted better than you thought it would. Or maybe you're grateful for that walk you did and you could feel the breeze and the sun on your face. Another good mindset habit is to pause and reflect each day. And this could be as simple as 1 minute. It could be a little bit longer, but you really need to check in with yourself, how you're feeling, and have the actions you've been taking that day, are those aligned with your goals? And where can you adjust with kindness to yourself? So we're not going to take a pause and reflect to beat ourselves up and shame ourselves. We can give ourselves kindness. We can have compassion on ourselves. And we can also see, what do we need to adjust or tweak? But so many of us were so busy and our worlds are just so loud and noisy. So we commonly are on our phone. We have music on. We're listening to a podcast. We're talking to someone, that sometimes sitting in that silence and being reflective and looking internally, we push that away. So I encourage you to take the time to do that, especially if you're not doing exactly what you want to in your health. Take that time a little bit each day to look into it. Another great mindset habit is really have a strong morning routine. So for me, when I wake up, I read my Bible, do my Bible study, and then I do a prayer and a meditation. And so all that takes me about 30 minutes. But this really helps to start my day off right and get my mind in the right place because I'm not distracted by my to-do list. I do not look at my phone. I'm not distracted by other things. I can get my intentions very clear. The morning can also be a good time to check in with your planner and what you want to do today. Write any goals down that you need for yourself or habits. But taking that time right in the morning can really be huge and set your day off on the right path. This is a very practical tip, is to support your body with adaptogen herbs. So there's these different herbs called adaptogens that help us in our stress response to things. And really, we used to eat so much more real food. Herbs just used to be around more, and they're just not. So really including some adaptogens can help to support your body on a very practical level so you can tolerate stress in your life better, along with doing these other mindset strategies. One of my favorite adaptogens is ashwagandha, and I hear this one repeatedly when I'm listening to other doctors who are talking about perimenopause and menopause. So this is a really powerful adaptogen herb. This is also why I like Organifi's green juice, because they have a clinical dose, 600 milligrams. So if you're looking on labels of things, look to see how much is in there. So not only am I getting those other greens that help detoxify my body, I'm getting a good dose of ashwagandha to really help with that stress response in my body. If you guys want to try out this green juice, use the code HEALTHY20. I'll put the link down below. It's going to save you 20%, and you guys can use that code anytime. So if you order, and if you do a subscription, because that's the best way to save money, you can cancel your subscription, and if you order again, use that code HEALTHY20 again. All right, those links will be down below. And another tip I want to highlight that goes just a little bit deeper. We had that pause and reflect where we can just pause for a little bit. But I also encourage you to journal. So doing like a deeper session, maybe this would be once a week, about how your week went. And what do you believe about yourself? How did you show up for yourself? What successes did you have this past week? Are there changes you want to make? What are the barriers to get in the way? And this is what we do a lot in a coaching session, is we're really breaking down and going over things so that we can take different action. So if you're going week to week and maybe you're trying something here and there, you might need to sit down and really have a deeper weekly session where you're going over like what's going on with your thoughts, your feelings, what is leading you away from your goals, and how can you work on that? Maybe you keep like getting aggravated with your kid or somebody at work, and it's taking you away from taking care of yourself. Well, how can you start to work on that so it's not pulling you away? And the other suggestion I want to make here is also to visualize. So visualizing can be really powerful. So when we start to picture something in our mind, we're starting to build a neural network for that. So like I said earlier, we have these habits and routines that we do, whether they're good or bad for us, and that neural network can be really strong. And so when we want to start doing something different, we have this internal resistance because we know that this one path, we already know how to do that, and it feels easier. So we can start to use visualizing. So maybe we are struggling making ourselves work out, and we can just start to visualize that. What would that look like? I would have to put on my clothes and work out. I might be feeling like I don't want to do this, but then maybe I can visualize myself getting started. Within a few minutes, I'm feeling really good. Maybe I can visualize myself doing this for months, and then after months, I notice that I'm stronger and I'm feeling better. So visualizing can be a really great way to start to shift our mindset. So I hope that you guys found some of these tips helpful. I hope that you really take the time each day and each week to really look at your mindset and not just push it off, because it really makes a difference. And I would love it if you guys, as just a way to say thank you to me today, could just share this podcast with someone. Not only will this help to share this podcast with other people, but it also helps for you to grow that community around you. And when we have more people around us on the same page and supporting each other, we're more likely to stick to our goals. So find a friend or two and share this podcast with them. And keep on moving, friends.